Language learning seems straightforward until you discover that 65% of people abandon their studies within the first month. But today, we're exploring a revolutionary teaching method that's keeping 92% of students engaged through their entire first year.
Those numbers are fascinating. What makes this particular approach so different?
Well, it's all about breaking down complex language acquisition into these incredibly digestible micro lessons. They start with universal greetings. But here's the clever part: they've mapped out exactly how the brain processes new language patterns.
Hmm. So it's really about working with our natural learning mechanisms rather than against them?
Exactly. And what's remarkable is how they sequence everything. After those initial greetings, they move into numbers, but not just counting. They integrate numerical concepts into real world scenarios that create these neural pathways for permanent retention.
That reminds me of the research showing how contextual learning can increase retention rates by up to 40%.
Oh, that's fascinating. And it explains why their section on days of the week was so effective. Instead of rote memorization, they created these interconnected scenarios about scheduling and planning that made the vocabulary immediately applicable.
That's such a departure from traditional methods that often see a 70% drop in vocabulary retention after just 1 week.
Right! And when they moved into teaching objects and surroundings, they tapped into what neuroscientists call spatial memory encoding, basically turning your entire environment into this interactive language laboratory.
Well, that must be why their students show an 85% higher retention rate for everyday vocabulary compared to traditional methods.
The real game changer was their approach to food and drink vocabulary. They didn't just teach words, they created these cultural bridges that research shows increases student engagement by nearly 60%.
So they're really leveraging that connection between language and cultural identity?
Precisely. And then they brilliantly wove all these elements into daily activities. Studies show that connecting language to routine actions increases long term retention by up to 73%.
That kind of practical application really does make all the difference in language acquisition, doesn't it?
And here's what's truly revolutionary: their practice conversations showed a 45% higher success rate in real world application compared to traditional dialogue exercises.
Those are impressive metrics. How did they achieve such high success rates?
Well, they used this fascinating spiral learning technique where concepts are revisited with increasing complexity. Research indicates this approach leads to a 92% improvement in long term retention compared to linear learning methods.
That's exactly what cognitive scientists have been advocating for years. But so few programs actually implement it effectively.
You know what else stood out? Their error correction methodology. Instead of direct corrections, which can increase anxiety by 40%, they used this subtle modeling approach that kept student confidence levels high.
Mm-hmm. Reducing that effective filter is crucial for language acquisition.
And the results speak for themselves. Their students showed a 78% reduction in speaking anxiety compared to traditional classroom settings, while maintaining a 95% accuracy rate in basic conversations.
Those numbers are truly remarkable, especially considering how challenging language learning can be.
Well, it all comes down to their holistic approach. By combining neuroscience with practical application, they've created this learning ecosystem that shows an 88% success rate in achieving basic fluency within 6 months.
Sounds like they've really cracked the code on effective language instruction.
And the implications are huge. Imagine applying these principles to other areas of education. We could be looking at a complete transformation in how we approach learning across all disciplines.
Well, this has certainly given me a new perspective on the science of language acquisition.
You know, at the end of the day, it's about making learning both accessible and effective. When you can achieve both, well, that's when real transformation happens.